Earlier this year, we talked on the story about this man coming out, and stunning and brave man, after all. Well, he wanted to transition because he felt like, Merch, that he was a different race after all, and transracialism is just as legitimate as any other type of trans activity that's out there. And he got all of the heat in the world, and it's a very, very funny situation. And I said, hey, man, hey, if we're just applying their own ideology, the whole trans agenda, the trans movement that's out there, why is transracialism somehow off the table? Because you can change your sex, you can change your gender, you can go through all of those horrific surgeries and procedures, but this guy's doing the exact same thing. Okay, he's getting his eyes done up, he's getting his cheekbones done up as well, and he's not allowed into the club. Where's the arbitrary lines being drawn here? Okay, and of course, big old laugh at the time, but then all of a sudden, hey man, it started to hit, and then I seen this article that's right here, and he seems to be a little bit more legitimate of a trans person than even anybody else was giving him credit for, because not but a year later he had regrets about his decision and now decides that he wants to revert back to being the British man that he once was, and he wants to live his life as a normal British man, and he has great regrets about being trans. God, you just love to see it. All this shit fucking plays out exactly the same, and thank God he recognized his mistake before he joined the other 41% that are out there. But less about that and more about what he's talking about right now, because this is a real trans survivor after all. God, this is so fucking stupid. Influencer Oli London, 32, revealed he is transitioning back from a Korean woman, wait a minute, I didn't know he was going to be a woman, okay, to a British man, and slammed schools for normalizing changing genders and teaching kids to idolize weak men like Harry Styles. Okay, is he weak because he didn't want to go whole hog like you did? Or did you keep your hog? Like, what are we talking about here? And I don't really want to get into the particulars about this or anything, but it's very interesting. A British influencer, Oli London. Okay, kind of, he got a weird look to him, I guess. But again, what else do you expect? Somebody who goes through all these procedures, who transitioned to a Korean woman earlier this year. There's a woman, and said he is now transitioning back to be a British man. Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, a little refresher would be nice, because I remember some of this stuff. Okay, London, 32, who was embroiled in controversy. Shouldn't have been, man. He was stunning and brave. After identifying as transracial and undergoing multiple surgeries to look like a K-pop star. That's what it was. Okay. Laid the blame on American schools. British man blaming America because he became a... None of this. Okay, cool. Speaking to Fox's Tucker Carlson's on Friday night. He's not multiple. London, a newly converted Christian, took the God pill. All right, then. Admitted it was a mistake to identify as transracial. Nah, man, it was funny and definitely worth the views. I realized that it was a big mistake, and I just want to be a boy, London said. But you're 32. You're not a fucking boy. You're long since been a boy, my guy. But is it any wonder why me and young people want to change their gender when we have normalization of this in our schools and in this country? He might be a total fucking spurg, but he raises a good point that's out there. What is it? What are the numbers? It's like, I'm pretty sure it's 4 digits, like a 4,000, 5,000 spike difference in the previous generation to this generation of the amount of kids in public schools that identify somewhere on the gender spectrum or in the LGBTQ community, some form or fashion, non-binary, gender fluid, lesbian, gay, or even in some goofy instances, even trans themselves. All of these kids, legitimate kids, okay, not a 32-year-old spaz who's going back and forth between a bunch of things. Wishing nothing but the best. Glad you made the right decision at the end of the day, but this is what happens. Your mind gets infiltrated by these nefarious ideas, and then you start to adapt them, and then the people around you, okay, the bad faith actors that are around you, start to reinforce this warped reality. You don't do this with literally anybody else, okay? Somebody comes towards you, okay, somebody as a teacher, okay, you get accosted by a student that says, the demons in my head are telling me that I need to act out horrific things on the rest of my classmates. Nobody is going to reinforce your reality. Hey man, you need to take proper care of those voices that you hear in your head, and everybody is just here to support you, okay? You never see that shit except for this, Except for this, that has terrible repercussions down the line, but no, you can just hand wave that away. Puberty blockers have been well researched over the past 200 years, and there's no adverse effects. Can barely even say that without getting a chuckle out. Children are taught from a young age, and from the age of 5 in some cases, that it's okay to change their gender. It's okay to wear skirts. It's okay for boys to use gender-neutral toilets when it puts girls at risk. You're making some spicy claims there, dude. London also accused schools of teaching kids to idolize weak men like Harry Styles. Referencing the popular British singer. Yeah, old dress aficionado, right? But that's him. After surgeries, it didn't follow up on this story because it was just funny at the time. But then afterwards, it just became sad. Like, oh my God. Like, I'm old enough to remember when those stupid choker chains were just, little plastic gimmicks that would go around. And, you take them off of a girl's neck and then there'd just be little indentations. But now the whole dog collar thing, I get it and I don't get it at the same time. But especially on a dude who's transracial, I definitely don't get it. Okay. But that's what this very stable individual used to look like before, wearing this satanic pentagram or some shit like that. Nice eyeliner, bro. Fucking stand-in for Duran Duran. But there's Harry Styles right there who, hey man, he might be being labeled as weak, but that dude smashes way more than anybody else on the current fucking market, okay? What, he's attached himself to that 42-year-old piece of fucking meat, Olivia Wilde, right now? Oh yeah, he's out there just running trains on anybody he can get his fucking hands on, okay? I don't think for a second he's being loyal to Olivia Wilde. She's too busy spurging out at everybody else and not taking responsibility for her terrible fucking decisions. Anyways, London, who hails from the British capital, oh, of course, I guess that's where he probably got his name from, first made headlines in October of 2018 after news broke that he had spent more than $88,000 on 15 surgeries to look Korean, causing a massive backlash on social media. Oh yeah, back in the time, in 2018, that would have been a little bit more verboten, but now, celebrated, right? Or at least it should have been. Following the transition, London said he finally felt at peace after struggling with his identity for 8 years. But he had done a complete U-turn following his conversion to Christianity over the summer. He found the Lord, and then all of a sudden, he decided to reject transracialism? I think I probably missed that chapter in the Bible. London has since laid the blame at the American culture wars over gender in schools, saying the ideals of masculinity have been eroded in the nation. I don't disagree with you, but I think you're just shifting blame at this point in time. This is the new norm, and schools are teaching about toxic masculinity. They're eroding the alpha male. I agree with you on the face of this, your original face, not your medically changed face, but the alpha straight male has been eroded. Well, they haven't, just the perception of it, okay? Just being labeled toxically masculine. True, I know, everybody cringes whenever they hear this, but this is just the fucking facts, okay? Real alpha males that are out there don't give a fuck about your shitty labels, just saying. Like, oh, okay, cool, you think that I'm toxically masculine? Yeah, well, what does your wife think about that? It's like, who fucking cares? What happened years ago when kids used to idolize Superman and astronauts? Well, Superman's gay now, so that's another thing, okay? Now kids are being pushed by radical ideology. They're taught to idolize weak men like Harry Styles. Weak men like Beto O'Rourke. Wow. Bruh. Beto O'Rourke's had a real tough time losing his 3rd consecutive election. And then also getting called out by a... I don't even know what to say at this point in time. Like, just fucking... There is no coming back for old bouncing baby Beta. He added, I'm bringing up the Democrat who lost, hilariously, to Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Yeah, no, Texas is going to be purple any day now. Any day now. God, that's fucking terrifying. London has had a total of 30 surgeries, spending more than $271,000 over the last 8 years. Prior to his decision to become a British man... I don't even know where this dude comes from, okay? Was he born in America? Or is he just critiquing American culture? Then he wanted to be Korean. He's a very, very mixed up young man. Definitely. He's got all the signs of it. I just hope it doesn't happen for him to join the 41%. Just saying. Don't wish for that at all whatsoever. Just hopefully he finds solace in the Lord and everything is fine for him, okay? London said he began identifying as Korean after living in South Korea for a year in the year of our Lord 203. I'm gonna need a fact check on that one. And falling in love with the culture. Oh yeah. Little slight men that are around there, like, okay. He has stated that he wanted to be Korean. London received criticism, and he was a racist, and a transracial does not exist. I'd beg to differ. Speaking at the Catholic news agency last week, he said he still didn't feel right about transition, but he said may have been fueled by the popularity of plastic surgery in Korea. That's fact, okay? That's one of those graduation gifts I've heard from people in Korea that, all the girls, they get their nose done, their chin done, their anything like that, okay? They get some sort of surgery that's out there, and hey man, to those girls who get that excess titty meat filled in, congratulations, you're doing the Lord's work. Anyways, London, a former atheist. Wow, imagine that. Somebody who has rejected the word of the Lord ended up finding themselves in the throes of degeneracy. Who could have possibly seen that happening? Said after finding God, he is now able to accept who he really is. This actually kind of saved my life. Brought me back to who I am as a person, finding God. London told Catholic news agency. London is the only person, is not the only person who has detransitioned and is speaking out against transgender surgeries. Yes, Chloe Cole, right, yeah. No, I've talked about this a couple of different times, and it's like, this shit is sad as fuck, but now she's starting to speak out, and that's the first time that I've seen Chloe's mother, and you're just as much to blame by facilitating all of those fucking decisions, okay? Not putting the foot down on your kid that says, well, I want to transition. You just go, no. You wait until you're fucking 18, see if your mind has changed up before that, before making irreversible fucking changes. Castrating yourself, rendering yourself medically infertile for the rest of your life, lopping off your secondary sex characteristics. Irreversible changes have been done to you. Your body has been coursing with male hormones artificially put into your body. Lord only knows what that has done to you for later in your life. Now, I understand that you've course corrected and things could end up balancing out with your natural hormones and natural changes eventually starting to take over. I think Chloe's doing a bunch of good stuff right now, speaking out against this type of stuff, because that's the only type of people that are going to end up getting heard in these types of situations, because I could yell from the fucking rooftops about how degenerate and how detrimental these types of practices are for children, future families, but only somebody who's been through the ringer of this, okay? And only a girl is going to be taken seriously, because you just take a look at the numbers, and that's the only people who make fucking policy changes in today's day and age. Chloe Cole, a detransitioned teenager who has had a double mastectomy at age 15, told Carlson she is suing the surgeons who operated on her. And that's when we're finally going to start to see some changes, okay? These underaged transitioning surgeries, okay, again, like, age of consent in most places, I'm pretty sure, is 16, okay? Why is it kids under that age, okay, under the legal age, under 18, where you can vote and do so many other things, or even the age of 21, where vice laws no longer apply to you, that you're free to ingest and partake in any sort of legally recognized drug? But even before any of those barriers of age, you're allowed to make structural changes to your body. Doesn't seem to pass the smell test on this one. When we start seeing lawsuits like this, like, I don't really know if holding the doctors accountable for this stuff is really the best course of action, but if it's going to be the most effective course of action, I hate to make those types of, the ends justify the means arguments, but if that's going to end up saving the lives of so many kids that are going to be out there, some of these more proud butchers that just have the breast tissue removal bins that they like to throw their fucking work into at the end of the day, if you want to hold them accountable, yeah, I'm a little bit more on side on that one, because they know exactly what they're doing. They're definitely complicit in that type of stuff, but again, you should be going after the root cause of all this stuff, because if you start going after the doctors, don't worry, they'll be getting on their hormones, okay, because they got all of those support apparati in the different institutions that are out there that are overflowed and are running and being ran, by these gender activists, these fucking weirdos who will never procreate with their terrible fucking ideas, mostly because they can't, and then foist them upon the next generation. Meanwhile, your parents are trying to combat that fucking indoctrination. You send your kids to a place where they're just beat over the head of how bad it is to be white and straight, and that you should just lop your tits off or invert your dick in order to be accepted by the world. And most parents, because, hey man, let's not abdicate them of responsibility. Are they actively engaged with their kids when they get home, or is it just, oh, yeah, don't you have classwork to do, and oh, I had a long day, and please don't bother me? Might be the most of the interaction, what you see throughout the week. Maybe the weekend changes, okay, or maybe because most of these kids are coming from fucking broken homes because all of these predators that are in the public school system. They got to go off to another household. They got to go see maybe their dad. Which, let's be honest, if it's a broken household and it's mostly going off to the dad for the weekend, he's going to be cucked out of making a proper decision. And it's like, you want to do what? And then the courts are always going to side with the mother at the end of the day because the father doesn't get full custody because he's abusive or something like that, of course. This is a good first step that's out there, okay? Oh, no, that's Harmeet Dillon. Oh, okay. It's not her mother, okay. But again, her mother should probably be more held accountable for this situation. Her parents, but let's be honest, if she went through all those surgeries, it's probably not father in the picture. But if this is the first step to make some changes so that you don't have some fucking whack job over in the UK going through transracial surgery because must society pushed me in that direction, somebody needs to be held accountable to begin with in order to begin this change. And if it has to be from these butchers from Silicon Valley, hey man, it's a place to start. But you know who's ultimately in charge of this stuff? Yeah, you know. The Polish. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.